Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I am pleased to have Spencer Dinwiddie, Detroit Pistons guard, join us for In the Film Room. Spencer, thanks for coming on. You had a terrific game last night, and when you're finished with a game like that, I know the team didn't win, but do you take any kind of satisfaction and want to be able to build on that? Does that make you feel good, or are there just too many games and it's kind of hard to focus on that stuff?
Well, no, of course. So that was my first game this year, really playing. So you have to, take and learn from it and try to build on it. So I definitely have to do that with that game.
Awesome. Well, let's break right into it because right now the first play we have here is it's in the second quarter, midway through, and you get with a pick and roll of Andre Drummond and pretty simple on top. Now, is this the kind of basic play you guys like to run out of timeouts or out of sideline out of bounds?
Yeah. So out of sideline, out of bounds, we're usually gonna do a variety of things. It's a call. Right here, we run horns, and I have my option to come off either way. Usually, it's better to come off the five, so you don't have to deal with a show. You're usually going to be in a drop, so you know exactly what's coming. And I actually don't really care which hand I go to, so I try to come off the five here. And then I'm looking at Julius Randle and Nick Young on the weak side, really, and seeing if Drake can get behind them. He doesn't. Julius tags. So I have Ersan for like a brief second in the window once Drake kind of passes me. But D'Angelo didn't really do like much to get back in front of me. He stayed behind me. So like you said, and we talked about this before, when your defender's in jail, sometimes you have to pull up and take, that little 12-foot shot, even though, analytics say, mid-range shots aren't good ones, because that's just right there. If I can't fit it back to Ersan, then that's the best shot for our team on that possession.
Absolutely. And listen, there's a difference between a non-shooter taking a 15-footer and a shooter taking a 15-footer. That's why the mid-range is frustrating with me because that's a great shot. In fact, I have to imagine, I don't know if you complained, but did you feel like you got fouled on that?
Yeah, a little bit because he did kind of jump on my back, but it is what it is. You don't always get calls, especially when you don't have like a reputation and you didn't play much last year either.
Fair enough. Well, let's move on to the next play down, actually, still in the second quarter. And again, we're running the same play, right, out of bounds to you on top. And then this time, Andre Drummond steps up to you to set a screen, which is a little different than horns, right?
Yeah, so this was a different call. So as you see, they're spread on the weak side. I'm not sure if this was, well, I can't really tell you the call. But yeah, this was just a single pick and roll with the five and pretty much spreading out the weak side. And so when you come off, you're reading the two weak side, but I had Hibbert in the drop and I came off pretty clean. So here it was one-on-one basketball. And once again, I had Ersan, but I felt, with Meta World Peace trying to read the passing lanes and with me being able to get to Hibbert's shoulder with the little kind of jab step in and out move, I had a good chance of finishing. And the other thing that Stan is big on is if you can get the big to commit and you can get it up on the rim, then if you do miss, as long as you're getting a quality look, if you do miss, it's an offensive rebounding opportunity for Andre. So here I got pretty much past him. So and I was able to.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that because there are differences when who you're running the screen and roll for. So it seems like you might have a little bit more of a license to go to the hoop because Andre Drummond does that to a defense. Does it feel different when he's running it versus someone like Aaron Baines? Thank you.
Yeah. Aaron Baines is a really solid shooter out to about 15, maybe 17. So it's definitely a different look because obviously he's not as athletic as Dre. Dre kind of pauses at the free throw line right here while I'm continuing to go to the basket. But he's still going to go in and fill for the offensive rebound because he sees me going for a layup. Aaron may stay there. So then I might be able to reverse pivot and throw it right back to Aaron, and he shoots a little 12-footer. Or if they collapse, I have another read. So it does vary depending on who you're with.
You made this shot look, I think, pretty easy, or a lot easier than it really is, because Hibbert is a legit 7-2, I think, right? And he's moving with you. And it looks like that last step on the left step that you wanted is designed to be beyond the player, right? So you get your body in between the ball and him. He kind of got there. His foot is below your foot. So he,
Yeah.
in theory, is there ahead of you. But what did you do there to kind of get that shot off and avoid the block?
Well, see, I think the biggest thing about things like that is I'm deceptively long and kind of quick. So when I get there, you just try to finish high and get it soft off the glass. And still because right here he's not when his body turned, he comes with his right hand. He's still behind me. Maybe if it was his left hand, he might have got it because he would have been sliding down and he'd have been right on top of the ball because his body turns because of the in and out and he tries to come back with the right hand to block. I'm able to get it off because his hand couldn't get all the way to mine.
Absolutely. And I think he might even hit you in the arm on that one, too.
Yeah.
So that's a great finish. I tell you, he made it look a lot easier than it was. Well, we move on a little bit farther in the game to, let's see, a little bit later in the second quarter toward the end. And again, I like these plays where you can either have somebody screen for Drummond or Drummond is doing a nice little pin down before he comes and screens for you. What that feels like to me is that that's going to occupy his man a little bit so he might not be in position to help hedge the way he wants to. Am I correct in assuming that?
Exactly. It's a little bit of action to try to get Andre's man off him. But, obviously this cut is live, so if he's open, then you can throw it and Pope might get a layup out of this off the tight curl. But you're just trying to get Hibbert kind of off of Dre, and hopefully Dre sprints into the pick and roll, which then gives the guard space. And space helps you make reads.
Well, let's talk about the move because this is great. Under control, real simple. You're not going fast. What's happening here? What is your thought process about doing this sort of step back to the baseline?
So as I clear the screen, I'm looking at Hibbert. He's kind of up, but he's going to be in his drop like he always is. So then my read is Kobe. Kobe's playing the passing lanes right here, so I'm not really thinking to go back to Ersan. My read actually right here was Marcus because of the way Julius sat in the paint. But when I kind of got to my spot and Hibbert started really backing up and I saw I couldn't get to the baseline, I just stepped back and decided to elevate and figured D'Angelo wouldn't get to it.
So is there a progression? Like I'm looking at first, you're looking at Russell, Kobe. Did you do it like in an order?
So I never really look at my man.
Okay.
So my man is always last. And that's more of a feel because I feel like once Dre sets the screen, as long as I've done a good job setting him up, I'll know that my man's behind me. So my initial read is Hibbert. It's like, all right, can I beat him? Okay, no, I can't. All right, so where am I looking weak side? Mm-hmm. And it's like, who do I think is open? And you're usually looking at pretty much the weak side because they're either in help or they're closer to their man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So if they really are tight to their man, then I probably can beat Hibbert, even if he's in a drop, just because there's going to be so much space. But when they're shrinking the floor, then usually somebody's open. On this play, it was Marcus, but with the way Hibbert was dropping back, and because I had already hit a couple shots, I decided to take the step back jumper, which is a shot that we work on a lot with me, because they say, if you're tall and you can get to where I'm comfortable, because I told you this before, I'm actually really comfortable shooting a mid-range shot. So as long as you're under control, you can get your feet set. It's been a pretty good shot for me in practice.
Now, the step back, is a great shot here. It gets you some extra space. When you actually gather the ball and are about to go up, you have a nice clean shot at the rim. But as you get up in the air, and if you see this, the defender, Russell, gets pretty close. But does that matter to you when you're shooting it? Or as long as you have that clear view as you're beginning to gather and go up, is that an open shot for you?
It's more about the clean pocket and clean gather. And I think most shooters will tell you that, when they're there late, as long as you kind of do your job with your shot, it's much less about them. It's about you. The harder shots are the ones where they're right there, they're poking at the ball, they almost got to your pocket, but once you kind of get up and get ready to release, it's more just about you finishing your shot, especially if you feel your defender can't get to it. So it would have been different if I felt, like let's say Hibbert contests that shot and I feel like he can get to it, then it might change a little bit at the top. But with D'Angelo being, when I go to gather the ball, probably a good maybe 4 feet away, something like that, and then he's lunging. He's not like a high flyer. He's a good defender, obviously, but he's not like a high flyer or anything. So I'm not thinking, okay, a guy my size or a little bit smaller than me is going to get to my shot if he's not exactly a leaper. So I'm just thinking, make sure everything's good with my shot. Just let it flow, let it fly.
Absolutely. Beautiful shot. And again, I love the way your right leg kicks out when you're going to your right. We encourage all of our righties to use that as a balance and a fulcrum. Do you work on that? Do you notice how your leg kicks out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that's natural. You've actually done a video with my trainer from back home, and it's just something that's natural. And we worked on that move a lot. He actually started me working on that move, the right step back, right when I went. I think it was either my freshman year in college or my sophomore year in college, one of them. Just because I was very accustomed to going left step back, obviously like most righties are, and he said, get real comfortable with a right step back, just add to your repertoire. And I hated it at first, but he helped me out a lot with that.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the third quarter because here's another a really good play in the open court, and I feel like this is a great opportunity because a lot of players get in this position at every level where they're coming down on the floor. It's a 3-on-2, kind of a traditional 3-on-2, all of the balls in the left wing. And talk us through this idea of what you're doing here because it's a pretty advanced, you're combining a couple different things here. So what's going on in your mind as you're approaching the basket?
Well, so I'm reading the floor at first, and we didn't have a ball handler in the middle, so I couldn't give it up to the ball handler to have him then make the read and have the defense change. But I was also reading, I think that's world peace again. He's looking more to play the pass, because I have Marcus on the wing here, but he's still a little bit further away from the three-point line when I start to go into the move. And I was in between kind of to a Euro, but I went into kind of a long in and out and just tried to get to the front of the rim and finish because I knew I had AT behind me to follow up. And I figured worst case scenario, if I leave it short or leave it a little bit long, he's going to be in there offensive rebounding because I took both defenders to the basket.
So it looks like your momentum really helps you on this one because Randall is bigger than you, and it looks like he might even get a part of the ball. Did he block that?
No, I don't think so. He might have though.
It's close again, and or you might even be wanting an and one there. It looks like, but you're not concerned then because Randall is I guess legit 6'9", right? He's
no doubt.
And so you want to attack that no matter what.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. It's hard to jump when you're backpedaling. So I've got him on his heels now. If he's there planted and he's waiting to go vertical, which I had a possession in the game where Larry Nance goes vertical, forced me into a tough layup and I missed it. But he's backpedaling, so he's it's going to be hard for him to get up high enough in the air to really just block my shot. I feel like I'm in a position of power right here because he's backpedaling. If he, like I said, if he's planted and I'm coming right at him, then I either have to try to dunk him or I have to make a play.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's a great. I love the fact that you can read that as well. If a guy's backpedaling like that, even if he's bigger than you, you can attack.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, at the end of the third quarter, here we come down with another really good play where you're directing the offense, which I love about this. The guys are listening to you. You don't seem to have any issue with them, getting them in their spots, and they break in there and they have no issues.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically here, I'm pushing in transition. I'm trying to, just get it up at a good pace. And then with the way they cross match, I see Bass is on me. And, I think the guys listen to me just because, they trust me from practice. And, I credit them a lot for that, and I'm thankful for that. And, Van Gundy's big on, being aggressive and attacking mismatches when they present themselves and just, playing good basketball. So here, Lou Williams didn't pull in. If Lou Williams had pulled all the way in and helped, I probably would have fired a quick pass to AT and tried to get him a three. But Lou Williams doesn't pull in, so I feel, attack that gap. And Aaron Baines here goes short corner instead of and this is another difference that we talked about. Aaron Baines will go short corner here because he can shoot that, or he prefers to shoot that, whereas Dre probably circles underneath the rim. And then when you read that, you read world peace, and you see that I won't have the layup pretty much regardless. And so you just drop it off to Aaron, and he shoots the shot he's comfortable with.
So Drummond would have circled around kind of under the basket to the left side, and you could have just tossed it up to him.
Exactly, and you just put it at the rim, and you make Bass and World Peace have to get in a jumping contest with him, and as long as it's a good pass, more than likely he gets to score that. That then it becomes on the passer.
Now, when you're throwing an alley-oop to Andre Drummond, do you have to be that accurate?
It really depends on the situation. When he's running, no, you don't. When he has a full head of steam and he's running and he's alert and looking for the lob, you can pretty much put it anywhere because he's gonna go get it. It's the times where like on that play where he's circling under, where he's not quite sure if the lob is coming or not, where you do have to put it in the realm of possibility.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's look at the very end of the third quarter. This is the kind of thing where young guards could panic. The clock is running down. You don't think you have enough time to burp up a shot. So I love this because here's what we're talking about here, a basic spread pick and roll here right on top. So what's going through your mind on this?
So just once again, reading the defense. We made a call. We understood that, we were trying to get a shot. We usually go around 8. So not AT. Aaron already knew that, and he's coming up right around 8. I see Lou try to get in front of the screen quick, so I go to reject. He does a great job getting back in front, so I come back off the screen. Bass stays high, and Lou comes to pursue the ball, and then World Peace pulls for the 3, so that leaves Aaron open. And if Nance pulls over too much, then my read's AT. But with basically 4 guys up there playing 3, I just have to be able to make the right read between Aaron and AT because it's a 2-on-1.
Wow. So it's a lot of reading you're doing, and that's a very typical normal play, right? There's probably other plays you got to read a lot more.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, a lot of it's off feel. So usually you understand that Nick Young right here, that's a pretty basic coverage. He's going to stay with the shooter up top. So you pretty much kind of block that out in your head. Like unless he just does something radical and is all the way off and pulled way over, in which case Reggie Bullock's probably like, hey, give me the ball. You're not even necessarily thinking about that man up top.
Now let's move on to the end of the game. You guys are making a run here, and you're getting some good crunch time minutes. So out of bounds play, we really can't see the beginning, unfortunately. But this looks to me like a real simple. Did you start on the weak side elbow? Where did you start from?
No, actually, I started underneath the rim, so it was just a pick-to-picker action. Oh. And usually it's just ran to get the ball in, but Ersan did a good job of screening, and I was open. And so within the flow of the game and understanding that I had hit some shots, I felt like this was a good shot, and I made it.
Oh, so are you back screening for KCP?
Yeah, okay.
Back
screen for KCP and then come off the double.
Nice. So again, you're going to your right, and we talked about this a lot on our show earlier on this one. How when you're going to your right and you catch it, you want to have your right leg, naturally flows out and it becomes an and one. But you can see how important that is, A, for balance, and B, it gets you that foul call.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's something that you really just you can't over exaggerate during the game because obviously they've started to call that foul. Mm-hmm. But you have to do what's natural. And you have to do what also is safe for you.
Absolutely. Now, at what point are you aware, how do you read that coming around that that you're going to be open? Because, you are wide open on that one on the catch. Is it just a feel thing? Are you kind of glancing over your shoulder? How does that work?
Well, part of it's a feel. I think you saw on the beginning clips, I normally turn and get my shoulder on the side of a man and feel where he's at. As soon as I'm getting ready to come off the screen, like when I was coming off the elevator screens to get the ball in on the side out of bounds. So here's pretty much no different. I set the back screen, and then when I get ready to come off, I feel my man, and if I get that separation, and I just don't feel him, then I come off ready to pull up. You can normally feel a defender during the course of a game.
Well, our last play is at the end of the game here on another out-of-bounds play. So it's interesting. You seem to you did very well on out-of-bounds plays tonight. It could very well be not the case next time, but this is how it worked. So you same play again. Looked like it could have been elevator or double screen. Is it the same idea from before?
Yeah. So same idea from before. It's our basic out-of-bounds play. We pretty much run this when we're just trying to get the ball in, and we come into another high pick and roll. Because it was pretty effective for us that night. And Hibbert actually, this play I remember distinctly because Hibbert actually started calling under when I was standing on the ER of the Staples Center.
Huh.
So I came off already knowing what I was going to do. because Hibbert's going to plan to drop, and he was calling under for so long. And I saw the way Clarkson kept peeking for the screen. And as soon as he dropped that leg and got ready to go under Dre, I just walked into it.
You go left-right, which is a little bit different than a lot of guys who would teach inside pivot foot, right-left, going to your left. Is that just sort of in the flow, or do you like to do that?
That's sort of in the flow. I mean, I can do right-left, I can do left-right, and my biggest preference is actually to hop. But just as a right-hand shooter, I think the thing that you do the most growing up is probably left-right.
Yeah.
Just being a right-handed shooter, and so coming off this screen with so much space, I just kind of did what was in the flow.
Okay, because I know a certain team in the NBA that actually won't let them do right-left, inside pivot foot. They want the same every time, left-right, which is kind of old school, back like 60s style. But you know what? I started thinking about it, realizing, you know what? It doesn't really matter, right? You could have inside pivot foot. You can do the other way. You just proved that it works well both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to do with just kind of the situation. I think catch and shoot, obviously, a lot of teams like to come right-left because they feel it's quicker. They feel it gets their shot off faster, and you obviously don't usually have that much space. It just so happened that they went really under the screen. Like the point where Clarkson starts coming back to me, he's almost at the free throw line. Like when he plants and start that bottom leg and starts to try to come back, it's maybe a foot or two above the free throw line, and I'm already pulling up for three. So I had a whole lot of time in that situation.
Do most teams call out like the defender of the pick? Is he going to say under? And they use that terminology like so easily, you know what they're going to do that early?
It depends. I mean, normally calls are made not that early. So it just happened like almost as soon as I caught the ball and Dre turned around, he started saying under. And so I was like, all right, time in the game, we're down, we need points, and we need points quickly. So maybe in another situation I might try to force the issue or reverse it to Marcus and have him play off a closeout because Julius Randle is low. But I was like, I'm shooting the ball well. He's called under. I know where Clarkson is going. Like I already know what's going to happen. So I walked into the three.
Absolutely. And did you feel any kind of like disrespect because he's going to not give you, not going to go over on that one? They want to give you the shot?
Oh, not at all. I mean, I understand what the percentages say from last year. So you can't feel disrespected. You understand that you made those numbers, So they're going to play you. They're going to play you by those numbers. It doesn't matter what you did in high school or college or any of that. Like being a 40% three-point shooter in college don't mean nothing if you shot 18% your rookie year from three. So people are going to play you by what have you done for me lately? And so, it's my job to when they go under, make them pay and change the narrative.
I hear you. And I also would have to say that they're not going to be able to do that much more if you keep hitting shots like that because that looked beautiful. Love everything how you set up on that one and knocked it down. And you know what? Take a little disrespect. And you can say, forget it. I'm going to make that shot. You're going to go under on me.
No doubt.
No doubt. Absolutely. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and providing some of the most valuable insight we get on any of these things we've done. This is our episode 2 of the show. And, I'm looking forward to watching you do more and more this year. And again, we've talked about this before. Things work in mysterious ways. And next thing you know, you're getting, crunch time minutes in the fourth quarter. It's great to see. So, Spencer, keep working on it. And thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
And then don't forget, sports fans, at BBall Breakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in? You in, Spencer?
I'm always in.